identify pro-black.
History is about teaching us as a people that we're at war.
I want to speak about the image of our people. We have to be protective of our image.
Our ancestors were oppressed, and we are oppressed today.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? My name is Ja, and this brother sitting across from me is Kev, and this show that you're watching is called The Ja and the Kev Show, and we are very excited to bring to you a broadcast that needs to be discussed tonight. How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing good, brother. It's good, man. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, you've been on one of those little hiatus. What's up with that, man? You back now? Huh?
Yeah, I'm back now. I'm ready. We ready to do this, man. I think this is gonna be an interesting show.
Yeah.
I was telling people about it on the Blueprint. Tune in. It's not gonna be there every day. I think we're gonna be able to go deeper. Than just the placid topic. I'm gonna say that. Right. So the name of the show is Trading Places.
Well, let's talk about what that means, Kev.
So what do you mean by trading places?
Okay,
man?
Trading Places is basically it explores how African Americans have all celebrated other cultures' holidays and shunned theirs.
Right.
Now, in other words, we should be excited about our holidays or our special sacred days. Now, we may not have many, but we have enough that we can get excited about them. But what we have done is we have traded places with other groups. In other words, we're celebrating their days as if their days are our days. So we basically have flip-flop. And I have to ask some questions. I know some of the answers, but some of it I just don't understand, Kev. I really don't understand.
I'm ready, man. Shoot, we ain't rehearsed this, so.
Yeah, right. Well, the first thing I want to know is this. Why does it seem like many of us could care less about those days? Take, for example, you have Kwanzaa, and then you have Juneteenth, and then you have the 4th of July. But it seems like a lot of us, we get more excited about the 4th of July. That's not our holiday. It has nothing to do with us, but we go all out. We go berserk. You know, we get these clothes, we go to the park, you know, and we do all these things. We go to see the fireworks, but our people were still enslaved. So you would think that if anybody celebrated the 4th of July, it would be a European based upon the American Revolution and all of that. But unfortunately, many of us, we celebrate it, and we don't care too much about Juneteenth, our so-called Freedom Day. Why is that, Kev, to you?
I think it's, for one, I think it's education. I think it's cultural assimilation. I think it's natural, and I'm going to explain that.
Okay.
Because we feel like we are Americans and we are celebrating holidays. America doesn't celebrate Kwanzaa.
Right.
America really doesn't. You know, they don't celebrate Juneteenth. They just made it a holiday last year or so.
Yeah.
So I don't even think a lot of us know too much. We don't learn about Juneteenth in school, in high school. So I think it's normal and it's natural because we feel like we're Americans and we're assimilating to American culture, because even immigrants that come over here, they celebrate 4th of July and all these. And I think that's what we do. I think it's natural because it's been embedded in this culture.
Right.
So when we go to school, it's inherited, and it's in the media. All of these holidays, so you get days off. Everything it's in the fabric of this nation, and we're in this nation. And then some of it, I think, is cultural assimilation.
Yeah. So the issue I have with it is, and I understand that because in every culture there's an assimilation aspect that has to be dealt with. But what I'm trying to get at is, there, with the rise of Afrocentrism, with the rise of pro-nationalism and blackness all over, with the rise of all the things that we've gone through as a people, we know that these things exist. We know about Juneteenth. We know about Kwanzaa. We know about these days, but I'm talking, there's still this thing where a person will put up a barbecue pit on the 4th of July and give a damn about Juneteenth. And so this is what I'm saying. That, to me, that's unnatural, even though we know, like you said, we've been taught, but you know that has nothing to do with you, but yet you still do it. You know, and I think that when I say you, I'm talking about as a people.
I know.
We have some very serious psychological issues, and a lot of it too has to do with we're not even teaching in our own families, because we should teach our children as they grow up the significance of these days. And it's not just about barbecuing and getting clothes and getting drunk and getting high. It's about, what does that stand for? The meaning, the value seems like it has been lost.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was gained in the first place, because I never knew about Kwanzaa until my later years. I've probably heard something. I never knew exactly what it was, because it was nothing. My parents didn't teach me about Kwanzaa.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't anything in the community that I came up in that anybody spoke about Kwanzaa.
Right.
Now, of course, I'm a little gray in the beard, and I came up in the 70s and the early 80s, you know, so it wasn't a big thing. Now the Juneteenth was a big thing where I came from.
I got you.
But when I came down south, it wasn't a big thing. In Texas, it should have been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But up in New York, it was a big thing. In Buffalo, New York, it was a real big thing. When I came down here, nobody was like, doing anything for Juneteenth. Now I've grown some since then. So I mean, that's educational, because I could say, well, you should be doing this and you should be doing. If you don't even know what it is, I'm gonna give you an example. I came down here and I didn't know what the Battle of Flowers was.
Okay.
And people out came to school and they was like, "Hey, we off Friday." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "It's Battle of Flowers." I never heard of that before. Now I was like, "So what is that?" They're like, "I don't know and I don't care."
Right.
So that's the young. They don't care. People don't even care. And today, if I ask, this is a heavily Hispanic populated place,
right?
And if I ask them what Battle of Flowers is about, a lot of them don't even know, and they don't care. They just celebrate it. So I think that a lot of times everybody just celebrates for what type of celebration it is. When you were younger, the 4th of July meant fireworks. You didn't care. Nobody stood up to the flag and said, all of this. I don't think a lot of times we even care what the holiday. It's like, so what y'all do on this holiday? So what do you do? 4th of July was about barbecue. That's all I knew. I didn't care about independence. I probably hadn't even learned about it when I first started celebrating. It's like, hey, it's the 4th of July. We're going to do fireworks. We're going to barbecue. I don't think we sit up there and be thinking historically what each holiday means. So
that's so true, Kevin. And that's the part I'm saying I want to bring into this discussion, because what you're saying is 100% true. And I get that. But what I'm trying to get at is, now that we know, we have an obligation now. Those of us that know, we should be able to teach the importance, the significance of these days, because again, it's as if other cultures are more valuable and more significant than ours. And I think in many instances, because we have that mindset that you said that a lot of us haven't been taught, but when we become older, we would seem like we would want to question, why am I doing these things? And then when someone comes to you and say, "Hey, Kev, you might have been doing this on the 4th of July based on ignorance, or you just didn't know. But let me tell you about this day. This is important. Our ancestors paid a heavy price for us to get into these days and to show the pride, show the dignity, and to reflect on what they did to help us." And then many of us, we have this nonchalant attitude as if, well, it doesn't mean much. I'm going to do more and spend our money with other people than we do with ourselves during these holidays.
Okay. And I understand 100% what you're saying, but at what point did you start acknowledging or celebrating Kwanzaa?
I started celebrating Kwanzaa about 15 years ago. Before that, I have the same storyline that everyone else.
All right. And what about the Juneteenth?
The Juneteenth, about the same.
So what about the mindset that you have now to say, well, I'm not going to celebrate 4th of July? When did you have that mindset?
Well, I had that mindset when I realized that it had nothing to do with me culturally. It had nothing to do with me from a person or historical standpoint. So I feel like I'm out of place to be barbecuing and looking at fireworks and all of that. And I feel like I'm not really being honest to who I am if I do that and don't do this, as far as ours.
And something happened, and this was the whole point I was getting at. Something happened with you. Something happened with me. Something happened with a lot of us that don't celebrate these European, or these. I'm not even going to say European, because the 4th of July is not European. It's an American. It's a white American holiday. Europe don't care about the 4th of July. England damn sure don't care about it. But it's a white holiday in this country.
Right.
It had a social consciousness had to occur. Something had to stimulate us to start going in a direction. It didn't just happen. We started matriculating it to the point that we started looking at everything we were doing.
Yes, sir.
It started taking responsibility for our actions. So whatever stimulated you and something different may have stimulated me, somebody in the history, the past, or somebody like you said, our elders need to tell us. We need to think about doing that for the rest of us.
Yes, sir.
Because something has to hit them to make them change the direction that they're going.
And then there are some people that, regardless of what you and I say, because their minds have been so conditioned, they could care less about Juneteenth.
And I think that's cultural assimilation.
Right. And they could care less about anything that's Afrocentric, anything that has to do with us as a people. And you're right about it being a cultural assimilation. And what I'm trying to say is, to me, that's not just insane, but other people don't care about you and what you do and what your people did in many instances. Take, for example, when you look at Juneteenth, when you look at MLK's birthday and all the things that we do, a lot of people don't care. And when I say a lot of people, a lot of Europeans, they just do what they do and that's it.
A lot of America don't care.
But unfortunately, a lot of us, if it's not that important for us, when do we stand up and say, I have dignity, I have pride, I'm proud of who I am, my history means a lot to me, my culture means a lot to me, everything that my ancestors paid for to get me to where I am, I'm going to be proud, and I'm going to make sure that if I do anything else, I'm going to do mine first. I'm going to take care of home first, as opposed to doing other things. Now, I do have some more questions that we're going to talk about, because I think there are more culprits in this than you and I have begun to talk about, because there are some other culprits that can't get off the hook. In other words, you say, well, what do you mean by that? I'm saying this, Kev, that and I could care less what people believe. Many people think that I'm against people who believe differently than I don't have a problem with that. You can believe what you want to believe. But what I have a problem with is many of us, we get caught up in certain religious factions and they lie to us. In other words, again, they say that December the 25th was Jesus's birthday. Okay. We know that no God has a birthday. Okay. But yet, if you're going to celebrate that and you've been lied to, then where does the Santa Claus come in? Where does the Frosty the Snowman? Where does the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? All those myths have come in, and now we're spending all kinds of money to enrich them when we're basically dealing with a lie, man.
Okay. Now, like when I look at Christmas, Easter, those are religious holidays. You have different types of holidays. And that's not just an American holiday. That's a world religious. If you're a Christian, that's your holiday. Easter for the Europeans, for Africans that's Christian, that's all the same day. Whether we think it's a lie or not is regardless, because a lot of the people we saying, like, if it's supposed to be a religious holiday, where does the money to buying gifts and presents and all these things? A lot of people, I'm gonna say this in America,
okay,
or I'm gonna say this for Black America,
okay.
80% of the people that celebrate Christmas is not even religious.
Okay.
We just celebrate it because that's the traditional thing to do. Some people like, I don't care about no Jesus, but I just want to exchange gifts because we grew up doing that.
You're right.
And in school, I didn't care. It's like Christmas. I mean, as a young child, I didn't care. It was imposed upon me, inherited, because from the time I was 1, 2, that I can remember, is people today, your child gets a gift. If you celebrate Christmas, before they even know, all they know is the lights, and they don't even know the day that's coming. They don't know the calendar. They just open gifts and they get happy. They get toys. So it's been embedded in us before we even care about the other aspect of it. That's what I'm saying. Most of these holidays are like that. We're not sitting up there as a kid being taught, this is what this day is about, blah, blah, blah. It's your birthday. People celebrate a 2-year-old's birthday and they have no idea. It's like, okay, you singing to me. It becomes, it's getting embedded in them. So that's what I'm saying. It's normal for us to do that. It's not natural for us to do that, but that's normalcy in America. So that's what when you asked the previous question was, when are we going to wake up? It's like, when are we going to start teaching and trying to inspire the same thing that stimulated you and stimulated me or whatever stimulated somebody else to be socially conscious and ask these questions. Why am I doing it?
That's good teaching.
That's when we're going to wake up as a whole, because we got to spread. The fun is celebrating, giving gifts. The fun is New Year's, drinking and partying and doing whatever. The fun is fireworks, seeing it in the sky. What do we do for Kwanzaa? That's fun. It's like people don't see it. So only people that celebrate Kwanzaa is those that have that social consciousness.
And that's important, because you're right. When you talk about Kwanzaa and you talk about Christmas, they go around the same time. And you have to talk about Maulana Karenga, who started this thing way back in the early mid 1900s, because he looked at these holidays and he was conscious enough to say, hey, This is something that we can do that talks about our heritage, that talks about our history, talks about the first fruits. It talks about just different symbolism to trying to teach us about unity, self-determination. All these are beautiful principles. And so those are the principles that when people ask me, they say, well, do you do Christmas? And I tell them no. And then I tell them why. I say, well, I get into Kwanzaa, and here's why. Here's what it means. And this is why it's important to me. I'm not bashing them. I don't go over to a person's house, see a Christmas tree and jump on it and drag it and kick it and throw it around. But I'm trying to get to the point where at some point in time, you hit the nail on the head. We're going to have to start teaching. Now, if a person doesn't want to do it, that's their personal preference. But a lot of us, we're not teaching because we've traded places and we think we're somebody that we're not. Even though we've been assimilated into this culture, even though we're doing the things that we've been taught, a lot of us have forgotten who we are. And it's based upon all those things that we have been taught since we were little children. And so I'm saying at some point in time, whether it's you, myself, other people, we know that the 4th of July, most of us, we know that the 4th of July has nothing to do with us, historically speaking, right today. But yet we're still going to do what we do because it's ingrained in us. And we don't want to make that sacrifice of saying, you know what, I'm not going to do it, because other cultures don't do that. And to me, it's like we're so accommodating. We're easily accommodating.
When you say other cultures don't do that, you might
white people that live in the United States of America, they can give two rats about some of the days that we have. Now, a lot of them do it because, for example, Martin Luther King. Look at what had to happen before that was something that we even acknowledge. But that's different as opposed to the ones that we're talking about now. So all I'm saying is we have traded places and we need to go back, as they say, get back into our lane and start making sure that our holidays are something that's sacred and important to us.
Okay. So the one thing I do want to say, when you say other cultures don't do it, I think other cultures that come to America, immigrants, they do what the Americans do. Mm-hmm. The Mexicans celebrate 4th of July, and it had nothing to do with them.
But they also celebrate.
They celebrate Thanksgiving. But I'm saying no. See, I'm saying they celebrate Thanksgiving, and that had a lot of the immigrants that come to this country that wasn't their family wasn't even here. From the Caribbean, they celebrate 4th of July. So they celebrate the white. It's not just. I'm saying black people, other cultures do it, but it's just the dominant culture in this society. They don't care about anybody else's. I mean, now I see people celebrating Cinco de Mayo. I never knew what that was till I came down here. Right. But I see black people doing it, and I see Asian people doing it. I see everybody because it's just a time to drink and have the people looking for a time to have fun. Right. Oh, this is a day, this is some day. Right. But they're not looking at our days. We don't have days that's fun. Kwanzaa is not fun for anybody else. It's cultural for us and it's educational. Black History Month is not fun for anybody else. It's not really not fun for us. It's just educational. Right. We don't have these have fun. Juneteenth, whatever we do on Juneteenth, somebody may, and I mean, my thing is, do you care if somebody else addresses your holidays or recognizes them?
Well, my thing is this. I care from the standpoint of if you're going to be in a culture and I'm going to do and try to show you that I'm okay with what you guys are doing, and you don't do what I'm doing, then of course, because I'm not going to do something when I've learned. Now, if I don't know any better, that's different. But when I know, I choose to do different. I'm not going to continue to do something, especially when it belittles the people that come from me, especially when people don't give 2 cents against what we're doing to try to continue to help our people. I think that's very important. Now, overall, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but I think it's just it's unfair for me to go out and do other things that other people do and not do the things that I'm supposed to do as a person of color.
So you more about us not doing what we're doing as opposed to somebody. Because see, like if I say with Irish people, I always say that the Irish people don't celebrate Juneteenth. Like what I look like doing, whatever, what's that?
St. Patrick's.
What I look, and I mean, I'm saying that, but I don't really care if they do it or not because it ain't for them. It ain't about them. Just like St. Patrick's Day ain't for us. That's something that happened in Ireland. But they brought that here with them. And Americans do it. You see white people doing it, and it ain't got nothing to do with that has something to do with Europe, but they brought that here and people celebrate it because their people came here. Now that's what we should be doing. But see, that's a fun holiday.
Yeah.
That's a fun. That's what I'm saying. People they want fun, and whatever it is, Cinco de Mayo. I asked a bro, what is Cinco de Mayo? I called a Mexican restaurant and ordered Cinco something Pico de Mayo or something, and the lady was like, "What?" Because I'm just thinking, I don't know. That's new to me. All this language, verbiage, whatever, and I'm like, okay. Just I don't know. I know it's a Mexican Independence Day. From whom? Right. I don't, and it really don't even concern me to learn about the history. But I did. I looked it up. Or Battle of Flowers. I looked it up because I'm celebrating. I want to know what you're celebrating, and then when we have these type of intellectual discussions, I can have that type of discussion with somebody. Why are you celebrating the independence of Mexico?
Right. And see, this is what a lot of people do. This is what is called pride. A lot of people celebrate these days because they're proud of their history. They're proud of their heritage. They're proud of their culture. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that as an African American, we need to take that same attitude. Even though we've been misled, even though we haven't been taught, there's nothing wrong with us having the same attitude. If not, we're going to always be marshmallows. We're always going to be patsies. We're always going to give people a pass to do what they do and disregard ours. And if we stop doing a lot of the things that we do when it comes to these holidays, celebrating them, once we learn, then we're going to see that it's going to be like you said, it's going to be it doesn't matter to me what you do on St. Patrick's Day if that's what you want to do. But on the day that's special to me, on Malcolm X's birthday, you say the same thing sometimes when we talk about spending your money. It's the same concept. You'll tell me in a minute, and I'm agreeing with you 100%, where if you see a black business, you're going to spend money in a black business. You have your money in a black bank. There's a reason for that. And that's a perfect reason for that. And I applaud you for that. And we should be like that as well.
And that's why, to me, the more exploratory question is, why shouldn't we celebrate their holidays and be more focused on ours? Because for whatever reason you think it is, that's what I think the main topic of conversation should be. The pros and cons of us celebrating our own versus celebrating theirs. What's the pros and cons of now? See, like when I break off and I say, like you said that you're not concerned about whether somebody celebrates Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatnot, and I could say I don't do it, and I don't think we as a black culture should do it in America because it's fabricated, but that's a consciousness thing. That's the thing. Just like I could say, I don't think we should be drinking and doing all this stuff. I could say that. I'm not in control of anybody's actions, but I could say, I think we should be celebrating Kwanzaa, but I got to give people reasons. If somebody say, well, what is Kwanzaa and why should I celebrate it? I got to have an answer. If I'm thinking that you should. So there got to be a pros and cons. What's the pros and cons of me celebrating Thanksgiving? What's the pros and cons of me celebrating Christmas? I could say, what's a fabric? I don't care. I'm not Christian. Whatever. I like to give gifts. So, okay, well, what's the cons of it is you're spending money and it's capitalized. And then we're not a people that have the luxury to be spending money and wasting money on a fabricated day that doesn't mean anything, when we could be putting our money towards something like Kwanzaa that's talking about sharing your wealth and your community and the values of Kwanzaa. If we start learning that, it shouldn't be I shouldn't have to be telling somebody, even though we might have to, because they should be curious about it themselves and wanting to learn. Now they may come to you and say, well, tell me what is this Kwanzaa stuff? Why is instead of them being, well, y'all just making something up, and I say, well, what do you know about it? What do you know about when Kwanzaa started? I don't know nothing. So and don't you think you should learn?
I would also say this too, and see, a lot of times when I say we as a people, everyone else will tell us exactly what's on their mind when we ask them questions about what they do and why they don't do it. If I ask a European, why don't you celebrate Kwanzaa? And he tells me, or she tells me, that's really not for me, I'm okay with that. But when we say it, there's a problem, you see, because now we got to say it in such a way where people have to feel good about it. When you say, well, Jahi, why don't you celebrate a holiday that's Eurocentric? And I say, well, my people had nothing to do with that. See, that's fine. But no, you can't say that, Ja. You got to come, you got to do it in such a way. And then so we start being so accommodating. And it's not that we should be mean-spirited, but like they will tell us, and then they don't have to tell us. They won't do it. Because it's not about them. It's not about their culture. It's not about their heritage. It's not about anything other than them wanting to do that because their history reflects. You see people standing up singing the national anthem. Now, this is not a holiday, but they cry sometimes because that means a lot to them, Kev.
Right.
It touches them. But when we sing the Negro national anthem and those types of songs, like you said, that's just a poem, you see.
Yeah.
The number at this broadcast is 361-405-6111. We would love to hear from you. This is a debated, it's a heated, it's a spirited discussion. We really want to know what you think about trading places and how you feel about what we're talking about when it comes to African Americans trading places with other people and being more concerned about other people's sacred days or holidays than we do about our own, going all out for other people's days. And some people are conscious, so they say they're conscious, Kel.
Right.
And
then the conscious ones, and they would say, well, you know what, I do Thanksgiving, and if I'm saying I don't, they want to know, like, okay, so what's the deal with that? And I asked them, well, what's the, and I could say it really doesn't even concern. I mean, whether you do your Thanksgiving, you do it. Just do your Thanksgiving and all, or they do St. Patrick's Day, or they do 4th of July.
Right.
And then when I'm talking about Juneteenth, they don't have the same energy for Juneteenth. And I know, but see, I understand that that's that's normal in America, because America doesn't care about Juneteenth.
Right.
And if you're coming up in this system, you've been educated in this system from daycare to college or whatever. The college, the higher education, they don't care about Juneteenth. America didn't even recognize Juneteenth until last year or the year before last.
Right.
You know, they made it a holiday. They didn't care about Martin Luther King's birthday, but it's not, we shouldn't be doing anything whether the government acknowledges or the local government acknowledges. We should be acknowledging Malcolm X's birthday on our own, Garvey's birthday, and things like that. Because a holiday could be a national holiday, it could be a local holiday, it could be a state holiday, whatever, or it could be just a cultural holiday that we don't even care if they do it or not. We should just want to do it ourselves.
We should, and that's really important, Kev. We should be wanting to do it ourselves, and we should take pride in the fact that this is something that must be done. Every culture, no matter where you go, they have days that are significant to them. But unfortunately, we, as you mentioned earlier, we take those days that should be significant to us and we minimize those days, regardless of how we've been trained, because a lot of us, as we get older, I think the process is the same as you mentioned earlier. In school, we get taught all this stuff. As we get older, we begin to see, okay, this isn't what it was supposed to be. And then we have to make a choice. Now, we're going to make a choice to either come out of that and do what's going to be proper for us as a people, or we're going to continue to engage in it. And a lot of us, because of tradition, because of history, we die doing what we have been taught since we were little kids. And when some of us will even say this, I know that this day that I'm celebrating has nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my people, but I'm going to do it because of the kids. I'm going to do it because I was brought up this way. I'm going to do it because I like the feeling that I get, you know, especially around so-called Christmas time. I like the sharing aspect of it, and we get emotional. But when you bring up days like Juneteenth, when you bring up certain people's birthdays, like you mentioned Malcolm X, and other days that would really be important to them, they don't have the same fervency, they don't have the same fever that they have when they do those other days.
Now, the name of the show is Trading Places. I want to throw this out there. I think the same, like, see, when I talk about like Kwanzaa's gift giving too, and they do all of these type of things. When people talk about Thanksgiving, they get a good feeling about being with family. I can't debate that. I can't argue that. If you feel good with being with your family and having a family get together, and you could, but my thing is, this is just from Kev.
Okay.
Stop cooking turkey. That's not us. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do something, do it culturally for yourself, or trade places. Do it on your holidays. Do it on Juneteenth and say, this is a time that that Saturday, whatever y'all do on Juneteenth, whenever that Saturday festival is, we're going to do that. Then Sunday, the family getting together like it's Thanksgiving, and we're going to have cooking. We're going to cook our cultural food and feel good about being around our family there. And then if you want to do it again on their day, that's more power to you, or peace to you. But some of that not doing their stuff for the pro-black community, Afrocentric, is more rebellion. You know, you want to break away from them shackles, those mental chains. It's more like, hey, I'm getting out of this stuff. I'm being rebellious. So I don't want to celebrate your holiday. You know.
Yeah. And Kev, you know, the thing about Kwanzaa with the gift giving, okay, it's not like Christmas. Because on Christmas, they give gifts, toys, and presents and all that. And then they give not only that, adults give each other presents. But Kwanzaa, Zawadi is what it's called. We give gifts, but the gifts that we give are educational gifts.
Right.
These are gifts about our ancestors. These are gifts about those people that had patents, that did all they could to make things in the United States. So it's more of a teaching thing. It's not a toy, so to speak.
It's
Right.
educational. But I'm saying you could use it to do. You could give your gifts. And I'm saying, even if you celebrate Christmas, I've always employed Black people. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you now. If you're telling me you're religious, that's a different conversation, because I'm gonna say, why do you do this if it's religious? It's been capitalized. United States then took control over that, and now it's more about what you're gonna get somebody for Christmas. But I'm saying, if you are gonna do Christmas, if you're gonna exchange gifts, then go buy gifts at a Black store. And what we do at that time, we swell the pockets of our so-called oppressors.
Yes, sir.
We go Black Friday, we breaking our necks, we buying merchandise, that, and then we trading gifts, and people looking at what you got for them. And what we should be doing, I don't care if you give me a book, a Black book, an educational book, or if you give them a toy, but give them a toy from a Black store, because that helps us out financially and economically as a people and as a culture.
Okay. What steps would you say that we can take as a people, as African Americans, that we should take to elevate our cultural holidays? What are some basic steps that you would say?
I think we should have a structural way of celebrating it.
Okay.
Because I think that's the main thing that people look at. Even as a child, this is what we did. Like the same thing with 4th of July, whether it was fireworks, and we don't manufacture fireworks. So that's spending. I'm not talking about having fireworks. I'm talking about the barbecuing,
right.
Doing something like that so the kids could get involved. Oh, we're gonna play your music, play your cultural music, have fun, dance, do all this stuff, be out in the community and celebrate it, and not just say we got this structured thing that we march down this road and do that thing. Yeah, you could do that, but I'm talking about we should be celebrating it, period, in our communities and doing it our way. Separated from how they do things and how they want to. The fireworks is not ours. You say, well, why we don't do? Because that's not ours.
That's
we put money and reinvest in ourselves, but have something. And then other people may say, you may have other people in your community and say, oh, what day is? Why y'all doing this? Man, this is Juneteenth, bro.
Yeah.
And they may ask.
That's
I'm saying, do something. Like you could say the Irish, whatever, the St. Patrick's Day. They got something where they pinch or you wear green. We should have something on Malcolm X Day. We should wear something. I don't care if you're wearing red, black, and green. Where they talking about green now? Where your red, black, and green at? And then let's do something for Malcolm.
Right. And then also, I think what we need to do is, you mentioned it, and I let it go, but I want to bring it back, is we need to, as a people, we need to create our own special occasions. In other words, we shouldn't wait till the 4th Thursday in November. We shouldn't wait till December the 25th. We shouldn't wait till January the 1st to get together. We should be able to call one another and say, you know what? I want you and my family to come together because we just want to bond more. And we're going to call this whatever day it is. This is our family day. And if we can continue to keep that tradition going, when the little ones grow up, they're going to keep it going. But if we don't start these days like this, you're going to find out that most people, they're going to continue to think that the only time we get together as a group of people is on a day that we've been conditioned to believe is a special day.
Right. I think you should have family holidays, Big Mama's birthday or her, whatever. I think you should have family get together days where it's just, hey, we get together on this day because the family do this. And you should have community holidays. Then the community, we get together on this Saturday, the first Saturday of Malcolm X's birthday or whomever, and you celebrate. And I mean, like out there barbecuing, brother, get your pit. I got my pit. I got some meat. Let's do something for the whole community. Homeowners association and stuff. We have an appreciation, whatever. But we should be doing that on our own. The hell with what the government recognizes. We need to recognize, and then that's going to teach the kids. Why are we doing it today? And you should be reinforced. Today is Malcolm X Day. This is Malcolm X weekend. This is Juneteenth. Y'all ready? Y'all, with excitement, exuberance, and say, yeah, we about to do this, and you're going to continue to do things for Malcolm X's birthday.
You said a key word, and I'm piggybacking tonight, but it's the whole idea of what we need to do. And I'm glad we keep saying what we need to do. We're not expecting other people to do it. So in order to trade places and get back to where we need to be, we have to do some things, and these are practical things that we can do. We can take a birthday of a young lady someone who's done something important to us, we can sit around and we can teach the kids. And when they ask those questions, why are we doing this? Then we can begin to elongate and teach them this is a special day because of, and then we could take principles from that day. And then when the kids get older, they're going to do the same thing because they're being taught. But again, it's going to take people who are conscious and people who are going to be able to take the heat that comes from that, because within your own family and within my own family and others like us, when you start doing what we're doing and saying we're going to trade places back to where we need to be, then you're going to get those within the family because of the upbringing and the mental conditioning that's going to be anti against whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's normal. I mean, you think about the civil rights movement. Well, that was about getting civil rights, but it's about integration. See, we wanted to integrate into, and even before that, we wanted to be liked by white people in this country because of the history that we've had. So, and yes, culture is something we still trying to assimilate. And so how do you be liked by them as trying to be like them? I'm accept me. I'm just like you. That's how I meant. That's what integration. Right. We wanted to be part of it. Right. So we didn't say, well, I want to be integrated into you and I want you to like me and I'm not going to celebrate your holidays. I'm celebrating. No, we're going to do what they do because we want them to like us. We're going to try to look like them. We want them to like us. We're going to try to speak like them, how clearly we speak and how eloquent we could speak their language. Right. See, I can speak it just as well as you. Right. You know, we're not sitting up there doing that with dashiki. We're not saying integrate us into your society, but we're wearing our stuff from the motherland. Right. Or what we wear. It should be like the church say, come as you are. Right. Yeah, I want to integrate, but I'm gonna come as I am. I'm not gonna try to dress like you. I'm not gonna try to speak like you. I'm not gonna try to dye my hair like you or whatever you trying to do to make you like me. I'm gonna be me, and it's legal. I'm not trying to get you to like me. I don't give a damn if you like me. You better serve me. Right.
And also we have to look at this too. Whenever we do put on our cultural days that we're excited about, whether it's Juneteenth or whatever, we have to do it as if that's the last thing that we're going to do in our lives. We have to be excited about that. We can't be humdrum like you said. Well, Ja, what you doing today? Well, Kev, man, I'm gonna go ahead and go out to the park, man. You know, today is such and such birthday, so yeah, you know, it's just gonna be me and a couple people. No, we got, if it's just us, people ought to say, you are really excited today. Why? Because I'm celebrating Fannie Lou Hamer's birthday. That's why I'm excited.
You should wake up with that. Yeah, you know, that teach your kids. Bro, you know what day this is? Yeah. They're gonna look. It ain't the Memorial Day. Nah, man, this is Fannie Lou's birthday. Right. Let's go do something. Hey, baby, you know what? Let's go do something. This is Claudette Cover's birthday. Yeah. You know, kids, you tell them we going. You know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna have some birthday cake. Whose birthday is this? It's Claudette Cover. They're gonna get in this teaching, like you said, the educational. I'm gonna read some of these comments from some of these people, man. All right. I appreciate y'all showing up. I got Marie. I appreciate you showing up. She said Hotel Kings. Whoa. And Sakina said assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam, sister. And Sharon Systems Anderson said greetings. Barbara Royal, she said Hotel brothers. And I appreciate y'all showing up. And Coretta said good evening. Sharon said Simpson Anderson, she said many don't identify with Afrocentric culture. They follow Western ideology. Now I do want to, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Okay. Barbara, she said teach your people, brothers. And Teresa Lewis said Juneteenth is one of the holidays I enjoy the most. The problem is that others are trying to take over the events that happen. I want to get you want to get into that, man.
Yeah, she's right. Sister Teresa is spot on when she says, and I know you're going to do other one, but she says Juneteenth is one of the holidays that she enjoys the most. That's the first thing I want to talk about before I get into the other part of it. But that's the attitude we should have, man. I should be telling you, Kev, I love celebrating Marcus Garvey's birthday. My kids go back to school August the 17th every year. And people ask me, why do y'all go back to school on August the 17th? I say, because that's Marcus Garvey's birthday. And so we're excited to go back and to learn. So that's why we get excited. So she's right about that. Then she says, the problem is that others are trying to take over the events that happen. That's when you begin to take something that's sacred and you try to monetize it. You know, like Martin Luther King's birthday that's coming up. They have all these people. And again, we can help people and we can buy from people that look like us. But I'm talking about, and she's probably talking about as well, that people try to take over the events that happen and they try to what they call put them in such a way that they sanitize it. See, they don't like to tell the truth and tell the truth about what really happened. So we have to be the ones that we have to fight for that. And we have to make sure that others don't take over the events that happen, because that's very important.
And what is America about? Capitalism. And that's what they're going to capitalize. If they can't capitalize off of Kwanzaa, they're not going to push Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
If they can capitalize off of Black History Month and they can make some type of money from it and sell shirts and whatever, then they're going to do it.
Yeah.
America is about money. And if we don't commandeer our holidays what's important to us, that somebody else will. They're going to take control of it, and they're going to have it the way that they want to have it.
Let me say, I know you want to talk about this, but I'm going to say this to you. If a white gentleman went stone crazy in a good way on Juneteenth or any other African American holiday, and they pit out, and you say, what's wrong with you? They say, man, I'm celebrating Juneteenth. You would think they're out of their mind, because you would say that's not normal for a white guy to do that. Okay. But yet on the flip side, we have normalized what we do.
Right. Well, it's normal in America.
Yeah, because that's something that shouldn't be, because after all, and I think the civil rights and all those movements, they were moving us towards somewhere. See, and we're not as weak as some people think. We should. Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, all of them, they were moving toward what you and I are talking about now, where we recognize ourselves. We recognize who we are as a people, and we have those things for ourselves. Marcus Garvey, all of them, they wanted to have something that was for us. Yeah. But unfortunately, we have normalized it based upon our conditioning. And now when you see a Black person doing it, we say, well, that's normal. But when you see a white person celebrating Juneteenth, or the 4th of July, I should say, then we say, oh, well, that's what we've always done because of our upbringing.
Yeah. And if I see a white person celebrating Juneteenth, I'm going to say that person just likes to party. I'm going to think they like to have fun, or maybe they care. I don't really care. My thing is, I don't want them in control of what happens, like they did with Martin Luther King's birthday.
Well,
and you know, we just go along because they control it, and it's about money now. It's about all the booths out there, and if it's not about Black businesses making money, and now you got all these other groups, Hispanics business and Asians, you got everybody, the police forces out there, everybody. I mean, the police. Everybody, insurance companies, everybody's taking, this is a chance. It's a whole bunch of Black people.
That's what Sister's saying.
Oh, she did.
That's what she's saying. They taking over.
Yeah. And I'm saying that's what when I first went to the Martin Luther King march recently, that was heartbreaking to me.
Why is that?
Because I'm seeing all the commercialization. People, and then I see everybody else's agenda hopping on our bandwagon when we're not in control of that. Right. And then who's in the front of the march is the ones that put money in it. Yeah. And it's the major Valeros, HEBs, and all these things like that. And they may do some things in the community, but why are you in the front of our parade? And why is it? And I got with the Southwest Workers Union one time. There's somebody that's here in San Antonio. And they were talking about agendas, the Black Lives Matter stuff, or I Can't Breathe. And they were telling them, you can't do that here. Martin Luther King is not about that. It's like, what is he about? He's about injustices and stuff. So they were controlled. So what they wanted to do is stage some type of demonstration, a boycott, a lay down in the middle of the march, because they were being told by those people that was controlling it what you could do and what you can't do here. Now you let all these other groups that got an agenda, whether it's LGBTQ plus or whatever, they got their, if you want to enjoy, but you are not in control. We are the ones that should be in control of our holidays.
That's true.
We should be the main ones benefiting from the monetary gain of these this march and all this gathering. We should have Black businesses. This is a time that you should allow the Bases and the Chapmans to have their trucks out there basically for free. Right. This is a chance for you to make money.
And they got to speak up and speak out for it as well. I think you said there was a comment you want to get back.
I know. I think Sharon said something about the Afrocentric.
Okay.
I'm gonna look up at what she said. She said many don't identify with Afrocentric culture. Now I understand that. Now the difference with Afrocentric is about Africa. This is not. We're talking Black African, Black holidays, not African. Now, if we want to have, like I say, why don't we incorporate African holidays? Now, Africa is a continent. What holidays are you going to incorporate? Who's going to pick and choose that? Because we're not celebrating any African holidays here. So it's not Afrocentric. If that's the case, I'm gonna say, and this is why I say, why the question is, is not why don't we, but why should we celebrate our days? That's the question. Why shouldn't we be more vested in their holidays as opposed to ours?
Yeah.
That's the question. That's the exploratory question, I think, because it has to be a reason that you're saying this is what we should focus on more. Not, I don't want you to do this, I don't think you should, but why should we focus on ours more?
Yeah.
What's the game? What's the pro to that?
Yeah, and we should be focusing on ours more because of the history, because of the sacrifice, because of all of the principles that are shared from that holiday. It's not just getting together. See, oftentimes we forget that a holiday or a special day for us is not just about the things that we get caught up into when we celebrate. And that is barbecuing, buying clothes, doing certain things. They have meaning. So we must go to the deep meaning of what does it mean when we celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday? What should it mean to us? What should it mean when we celebrate Kwanzaa? Go back and say, first people when they were free after Juneteenth, what did they do? What did they go through? Reflect on what happened to them. They had nothing, man. They were free, but they had nothing. So let's look at what they did from then to now, and let's bring out all of those sacred truths that we can apply to our lives. Because when you start talking like this, then you get to the belly, you get to the gut of what's really going on.
All right, and let me say this about that. Now we got some more comments. Could you read those?
Sure. Sister Mashonda says, "Hey, brothers. Brother Josiah says most of these holidays shouldn't be tolerated because the origins of these holidays, like Halloween, are dark." And then Teresa says, "Wow."
Okay. The dark holidays. You want to address that?
Well, I think historically speaking, when you look at most of these holidays, in fact, all of them, there's some evil behind it. And so a lot of times people look at the evil and the wickedness, especially if a person calls himself a Christian. Why would they celebrate something that's called Halloween that also gives credence to ghouls and goblins and ghosts and witches and all of that? So yeah. I think this is what the brother is getting at. And most of them, when you look at them, they've done something to do that.
That's
most
America.
They've done
what you expect? What you expect in America? Thanksgiving is a dark holiday.
Yeah.
I mean that whole it's a lie. I'm not getting into the religious stuff because that's their religion and that's where they're getting that from. But I'm saying when people ask, but see, that's what I'm saying. When other people come here, they'll celebrate Halloween. They don't care about. Let me open up the computer and look up why we do it. No, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, this is what y'all do. Okay, this is what the tradition is. I'm here. I'm evidently here for a reason. I'm trying to be American. I'm gonna do what Americans do. And a lot of us, we don't care where Halloween. When you grow up, man, it was candy.
Exactly.
I wanted a costume. It was fun. That's what I'm saying. So we have to do things to make our holidays enjoyable for the kids that they look forward to and educational for them. And that for us. Now, to me, something that what you just said about whatever day we're going to celebrate and knowing and being educated. Now, to me, that's what Black History Month is for. Learn about these people, celebrate these people. And I'm talking about celebrate them in a way that you're learning about them. And then maybe on their birthday, you do something.
Right.
Because that education, I think Black History Month is about learning your history, learning more about your history. We're gonna have a lot of things, and it's not first people gonna be Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Garvey, Du Bois, all these things like that. But after a while, you're gonna start learning about more people. Let people get to that stage, and then if you're at a bigger stage or more advanced, just start learning more about that and have discussions. Do things during the whole month of Black history that's gonna be educational.
Right.
Then on this birthday, this is why I want to celebrate this person.
Right.
This is why I want to celebrate this person. And I think we should have those type of discussions as a people.
True. That's true. And let's add to that too, because you're taking it so far, and let's take it all the way. Black history and all these days that we're talking about, it's not just about names and dates, although that's important. It's not just about names and dates. It's about taking what happened to a people that overcame some of everything you could imagine. And what did they do to get over, in a sense where you and I can look back and say, let me look at this Granville T. Woods and see that he sold his patents to white people because they wouldn't give him the money. They didn't even think that he was intelligent enough to do that. But he did other things too to make sure that his people were able to take advantage of his mindset. So now we're getting into, not only am I going to give you names and dates, but I learned this from this brother back in the day. I learned this from this sister, like Sojourner Truth here at Tubman, the rest of them. They never gave up. So in my life, I'm going to say I've learned in Black history, like my sisters, to never give up. No matter what happens to me, I'm not going to lie down and just take it lying, just take it on the chin, so to speak. So these are lessons that we can take from the history as opposed to just who did what, which is important, and why they did it. So there's always lessons that we can learn.
I mean, culturally, I think we should have a Black Future Month. You talk about the history, learn about your history, and talk about going forward. I think those things of going forward is how we can become. If I heard somebody say, if you don't change, you won't change. If things don't change, then things don't change. If we don't try to change things, we got to look for the future too. Looking back and saying, trying to learn from that's great. So what are you going to do with it?
There you go.
I think we should have like Carter G. Woodson started the Black History Week. So we could start Black History Future. Whatever. Do something and even push that, because the future is what's important too. You can learn from the past, but if you learn from it and all you're doing is memorizing it and you're not doing anything towards your future, then what's the point? Where are we going to be? Because they are steady processing, producing Black people that's assimilated to their culture.
Exactly.
And that's going to be we're going to keep teaching, we're going to keep talking, we're going to keep teaching, because it's going to be a new crop graduating with this hey man, it's St. Patrick's Day. What you doing today? Bro, and what you doing today? Well, I'm going to June. What is it's going to be a lot of, and you're going to constantly be doing it because the system is not broke. That conveyor line is steady pumping them out.
Right. And I like to just share too, to add on to that, is we have to get our minds right. You say, well, what do you mean by get your minds right? In other words, when we embark upon these days, we have to make sure that it's not about you and I getting together and you're telling the people one thing and I'm jealous because you're saying something that I don't know. See, I have to take what you say and say, this is beautiful, brother. I'm appreciating what you're saying. People need to see the unity, that it's not about me trying to upstage you and I'm trying to get in front of you so people can know, well, look at old Jai, look what he's doing. And then you come back and get in, well, look at old Kev. It's not about that, because a lot of times when we have these days, we forget the value of them, because we all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We want to outdo the next person. And these days are not about that. They're about, what can I learn from this event that's going to help me and my people to soar to heights that has never been reached before.
It's not about me, it's about we.
There you go.
Simply that. Everything is, it's not about, and when I look at MLK Day, I think it's a lot of me out there. I think like I see like people passing out flyers for rap shows and stuff. Bro, that ain't got nothing to do. It's just because it's a lot of people there. You trying to capitalize on the chance to get your stuff out. And if it's not anything that's educational, that's not benefiting our community, then I don't think them people should be out there. I don't think you should have commercial like insurance groups out there trying to talk about it. I don't think you should be doing that. I think that should be regulated. It's not about that. Just like at Juneteenth, if they start showing up with booths and this State Farm and all this stuff, bro, like we're not doing that here.
See, you're right though, man, because when you first started, you said something that's still sticking with me is crucial. It's about that assimilation, because when you assimilate with a group, then you want everybody to be a part of it, you see. And that shouldn't be the case, because people always talk about this diversity, this multiculturalism and all this stuff. But, this is basically a smoking mirror, because when you look at it, all these people that we give our money to, when they go to the bank, they don't put their money in a multicultural bank account. They put it in their family's bank account. But see, we want everybody to just join along and get in and, come on in, brother, you can do this. Come on, sister. Come on, a person from another culture, bring your culture. And so then we try to have what is called a melting pot, whereas nobody else, no one else would do us like that. When they do their holiday, it's Thanksgiving. When they do their holiday, it's Christmas. When they do their holiday, it's Easter. Whatever they do, that's what it's all about. But with us, like you mentioned with the Martin Luther King March, you got people coming from car lots, car dealerships, they're selling they're giving you cars to buy cars. And so we got to start trading places back to where we need to be.
And we got people coming from other cultures and they're putting their fingerprint
all over
it. And this is where we have to stop, because nowhere else are you able to go to a St. Patrick's Day parade and have a Black Lives Matter banner and march. You know, they need to assimilate, trade places, assimilate. This is what we do. You want to be part of what we doing?
Right.
Then come do with us, sit down, be quiet, or come and follow along. Just like we used to try to do the electric slide. You don't know how to do it, get on the edge, get on the edge and stumble a little bit and learn. When you get good at it, this is how we do it. Then you get in there and you get in the middle. Then you and everybody gonna be like, and having a good. You don't sit there and you don't start country dancing and turn it in. Okay, now y'all play that playout song. No, we don't do that here. This is us. This is ours. This is how we do. Learn how to capitulate to what we're doing.
And Kev, I'm telling you, and so get ready for this too. Get ready for this, because when you start closing the door and not letting all that stuff in, be ready for those who are already supposedly in the house to say, open the door, Kev. Come on now.
Those are gatekeepers to me. But see, that's what I'm saying. We got a lot of us that's been educated in this system to be a certain way, that everybody should be all inclusive, especially when it's ours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, that's what we need to take over that.
Right.
You need to say so-and-so, Pastor so-and-so, or so whoever you are, representative, you need to be quiet. You need to sit down. This is about us. You know, this is about social individualism. We are a people with a culture that's trying to identify our culture and celebrate our culture. It's not about you. It's not about you. Don't tell us how to celebrate our culture. We're gonna tell you how to celebrate and who could come in. You don't let anybody come in your house on your birthday. That's right. You know, and they have any kind of demonstration and do something. No, this is what y'all likes on his birthday, and this is if y'all want to be invited. Y'all want to do it. This is. They don't say, well, man, we're gonna have hog mugs and all. No, wait, you're gonna check it at the door.
Right.
You know, we're not having macaroni and cheese with raisins or anything like that, or potato salad with raisins. No, this is how we eat. This is what we do. Come here as a guest.
And I'd like to say to all of those who are looking at this broadcast, who say, you know what, I'm gonna be honest with you and Kev. I've traded places and I want to get back. All I'm saying to you is take it seriously, because our history is serious, and don't minimize it to the degree that you want to allow other people to come in and take it and hijack it. You know, be serious about these days, okay? And maybe you don't know as much as you want to know, but this is where research, this is where study comes in. This is where you do things that are innovative for your own family, where you can teach your children the importance of these days instead of just listening to what other people say. Learn what Juneteenth was all about. Learn what Kwanzaa is about. Learn all the days. Learn why we need to look at these days and celebrate them. Give us a reason to do it, and make sure that we do it with excitement. So you're laughing, Kevin.
100%. I was looking at what Sharon said, and I'm just thinking, and you know, we went to Juneteenth this year. You had the academy up there, and I think about the incident that happened up there, and I call it an incident that went over people's head. You had the girls out there doing that concert. But let me read the comments. She say Juneteenth parade is another one. Also, it is so sad. Everyone and anyone and everyone is in the parade. For example, the car club, and I'm saying that's a problem to me. I understand that, see if it ain't got nothing to do because you just want to be seen. You want your car club to be seen. That's what all it is. And to me, it ain't about. The parade is, I mean, if you're going to have a parade, but the celebration should be different. I think the celebration should be a community celebration. It shouldn't be somebody out just school marching. Traditionally, I understand that. But I'm saying, what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do? You could say it. We could complain. This ain't a bitch and moan type show. We just educational or discussion, but we also should be talking about the future. What should we do to change these things? Because if things don't change, things don't change. If you don't change things, it's not going to change. So what can we do? The problems that we see, how can we commandeer our celebrations back? And the incident I brought out, chuckle. You had the girls, they had a song called Black Power. We had the Juneteenth celebrate. They doing the concert. The last song, they got people standing up, and I'm sitting in the people like, hell yeah, like the young girls are singing their song, doing their concert. They saying Black Power. What you say, Black Power? That's what the Juneteenth was about. Empowering ourselves, pride in ourselves. Loving ourselves.
What happened after that?
It's like, oh, they took the mic after that, and these older people. that what they say, we need to start singing what
America the Beautiful or something, right?
Yeah, like see that was intimidating to them. You know, you got these young girls like what
Excited.
9, 7,
yeah,
9, 10, 11-year-old, and they doing a show, they doing a song. The last song they saying is Black Power, and I'm looking at people in the crowd, and they like, yeah, and they saying, they chant what you say, Black Power, right? They telling to get in the crowd to sing along, right? That is the most invigorating thing you could do for any of our holidays. Yeah. And then okay, no, all right, we got to get this back. We got to reel this back in. Let's sing America the Beautiful, because we got to show that we love America, and it's not about that Black Power is threatening. That's why I chuckle. I remember that. I know you remember that.
Yeah, that was wild. It was wild. But again, Kev, this discussion is important, because we have to trade places back to where we come from. Because if it was something that was instilled in us, we can instill the right things in us, but that's going to take responsibility from each one of us. And we have to go back and look at the questions that we ask. Why should I celebrate this? What should I be learning from this? What do I want my children to learn from this? How should I be acting because of this? See? Because a lot of these people that we're talking about, they had little, but they did so much with what they had, which was nothing. And most of us today, by their standards, we have so much more, and yet we're not doing with it other than talking, like you said, or giving out business cards. So we want everybody to see us. And it's not about always wanting to be seen.
Yeah, everything should be about the positivity in our community, helping our community grow. Somebody should be in control of that. It's not about your car show. I don't care about your rims, your motorcycle gang, whatever. That's cool. I mean, I don't want to knock them. I mean, that's cool. But I'm saying the thing is, it should be about our community.
You mean I can't come up there with my 22s, man, and blasting all that music?
I mean, see that stuff. But I'm saying the parade part. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody should be in control of that. Yeah, you should have people it should be almost like Martin Luther King when people marching, right? But the parade, I understand Sam Houston band and all that stuff. That's great, and I love that's culture. That's San Antonio culture. That's East Side San Antonio pride. That's all great. But just having people in the parade just to be in the parade, and it's not who are you, or what are you doing. It's more so like, of course, you know, you're gonna be selling out to these bigger corporations. They're gonna have their floats out there, but we got to be more than that. On Juneteenth, we got to be more than showing up in the heat of the afternoon, watching a parade, and then people just dispersing and going to different things. I think the parade shouldn't even be the biggest part of it. I think the celebration throughout the whole weekend, and the education throughout the whole weekend, and the week before that, the week leading up to it, that should be the main part. And we should be doing something to take back.
That's true. And I also would like to say too that this is a part that a lot of people don't like to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway. You asked earlier, you said that there were some things that we should be doing and to combat all of this commercialism and all that. And I think one of the things is, if you are on any committee or you have a say-so, you got to stop, and I've got to stop all that infiltration that's coming in that's not about that. We've got to stand now. Look, I will be the bad guy, you will be the bad guy, but someone has to say, wait a minute, this is not about that. See, you can't just say, well, because there's so many people, we're going to let them all take part in this. We've got to shut this thing down and say, okay, I like what you're saying, but this is not the time for that. This is about this. And we have to make sure we stay there and quit being so scary and kowtowing just because somebody may have status, you know, somebody may have fame, someone may have fortune, and we're afraid to confront them in love and say, hey, I know you want to be a part of this, but we're not having your motorcycle club come in with all that loud stuff just to show off the big old choppers. No, that's not what it's about. It's about the moment. It's about what happened. Why are we meeting here? And someone's going to have to say that. And
I'm going to tell you another way you could do that. You could have a separate Juneteenth celebration someplace else, and the people that's really down with they could sanction whatever they want. You see, that means, this is who's putting this on? Okay, okay, we need to talk to y'all. Who's in charge of this? You have a board that's in charge of that. They assign people to be in control of that. So what you do is you could say, okay, we got this. If y'all not going to change, you go to them and try to get them to change it, because they're going to take control of it. If they're not trying to listen, then you could do your own thing someplace else and say, hey, this is our Juneteenth celebration. And then if your celebration gets bigger, then they're going to start listening. They're going to say, okay, man, you can have parties going on all over. The 4th of July, you think it's only one thing happening?
Please, it's everywhere. It's
everywhere. Everybody for 3 or 4 days, man, my dog, like, she a Vietnam vet. She got like post-traumatic stress. I mean, all these fireworks for 5-6 days.
Yeah.
We could continue to keep enjoying the Juneteenth as much as we want. Nobody can regulate that.
And don't get caught up in numbers. That's good, Kev, what you said, because sometimes when it's just 4 or 5 of us saying, hey, we're going to celebrate Kwanzaa like this. Sometimes, well, you only have a few people. You want all these massive people. You want the parade. You want everyone. Look at me. Look at me. It's not about that. Like you said, we can go and do our own thing. Just you and I. We can have a celebration and be excited about it. Then when people ask us, what did y'all do? Me and my boy Kev, we got together, man, and we celebrated whatever that is. That's Afrocentric. And then people will say, well, you know what? I look up to you guys because you didn't have to go out there and be with the in crowd just so people can say, look at John Kev out front with 100,000 people. It's not about that.
I think the important thing, like with Kwanzaa, just like with Thanksgiving, everybody ain't out in the street with that. That's family. Yeah. Do it in your family. Let it grow in your family. That's how it's going to grow for generations. You start celebrating that with your kids. And they're going to understand it. It's going to be like I was talking about with the assimilation, with the culture and all this stuff. This becomes part of the culture. See, I was learning about 4th of July when I was a little kid. Now things are changing so that my kids and my grandkids should be learning about Kwanzaa or Juneteenth.
Right.
And start doing that stuff. It don't have to be. It should be. It'd be great to be a community celebration, but I'm saying something like Kwanzaa. It doesn't have to be. You can have it's different days to Kwanzaa that have different meanings. So I'm saying you could be in bed. Start with your family.
Right.
Do that first.
And I would be remiss to not say this, Kev, about for those of us who have lost some loved one in our family, whether it's big mama, granddaddy, great granddaddy that we knew when we were growing up. You take a day that means that much of importance to you and you teach your children. You never heard about granddaddy, but let me tell you what granddaddy was about. You sit the kids down and you honor that granddaddy and you keep telling them that as they grow up, they're going to have that in their subconscious. And then when they become old, they're going to tell their children, my daddy or my mama, my uncle or aunt kept telling me about granddaddy, big daddy. And every 17th of September, we get together in honor of granddaddy. The little kids, we didn't know him. Well, now we're going to teach you about it. That's what it's all about.
That's how they live.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's how they live.
Right.
I'm gonna read one more comment. Teresa said the Sam Houston Band plays at Juneteenth parade, and the others in the parade are drowning out their music. That should be the only music played, and I appreciate that. Bring that up. Now I know Teresa. She gets involved and be contacting Congress people in the district too. And this is something that she could probably tell people that they could do, because a lot of people don't think they have a voice, and she has a way of getting her voice heard. Potholes in the street. You know what? I'm contacting this person. This is happening. I'm contacting you. So that's something that we gotta commandeer.
We do.
And that has, basically that has everything to do with us.
Right.
We gotta inspire people the same way something inspired you. Something lit a flame under you. Something lit a flame under me. Consciousness. A lot of us call it being conscious or waking up or whatever. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to wake our people up. I don't want to beat you up while you sleep, but I'm just trying to wake you up.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, you have anything else, man?
Well, no, I say my closing remarks is going to be, we appreciate all the people that tuned into this broadcast. We want you to tell someone about it when you see our information when we're going to come on, because we're kind of trying to figure out a certain day, a weekday, but whenever you see our notice, please tune in, tell someone. I think this information, every time we do a broadcast, is so pertinent because we get to the nitty gritty. We get down to the truth of what this is about. And trading places is something that a lot of us have still done, but we want you to take it back. Trade places and get back in our own lane, and then begin to teach and make sure these days are significant. And once again, man, it's always great to sit down and share with you these ideas and concepts about something that's important to us. This is our broadcast.
To our people. This ain't about us grandstanding or trying to be seen and heard. We want the show to be heard. We want the discussions to be had. I appreciate everyone's comments. Hopefully we'll get some callers one day. Y'all don't be scared to call in. I know y'all be jumping on people, but y'all call in and
he got me like this.
voice y'all opinions, and we need to hear it, and we could grow. We learning from some of y'all comments too. This is not a preach, teach, or thing like that. So I appreciate it.
Okay,
see y'all next time. Peace.